There's also another lawyer in the room, the Department of Homeland Security, or DHS. The government is always represented by a lawyer, even if you're not. The DHS lawyer has to prove why you're not allowed to be in the United States. And there are many circumstances where this comes up. Maybe you had no legal visa to enter, or maybe you let your visa expire, like a visitor's visa. Even if you have a green card, you can still be subject to immigration court if you're convicted of certain crimes. There's only one class of untouchables, and that's American citizens. Immigration law has no authority over US citizens, but sometimes determining who is an American is not so easy. If you believe you are a citizen, you should tell the court that immediately. It is your responsibility to show that you are a United States citizen, but the court will take this allegation very seriously. So will the Department of Homeland Security. There have been cases where Americans have been accidentally put into court, so if this does happen to you, make sure you speak up and speak up soon. The DHS lawyer has to prove that you were born outside of the United States. If you've had any interactions with immigration, there's always one question that you will be asked, and that's, where were you born? The second one is, do you have a visa to enter? Most non-citizens will voluntarily admit that they weren't born in the US, but born in another country. This statement is enough to show that a person is not a native and citizen of the United States. Sometimes non-citizens won't answer where they were born or what country they're from. In those cases, the government lawyer can offer a birth certificate or a passport to prove that the person was born outside of the United States. The government lawyer also has to show why the non-citizen is not allowed to be in the United States. This is usually because the person came into the US without a valid visa, or if the person is a lawful permanent resident, because they committed a crime that knocked them out of status, or because they stayed outside of the US for too long. Once the lawyer proves that a non-citizen was born outside of the United States, they have to prove something else, and that's that the person is actually not allowed to be in the United States. It's your job under immigration law to prove why you can stay. A government attorney can literally sit at the table with their hands folded, not ask you a single question, and you can still lose your case, because it's up to you to show that you deserve to stay. Government lawyers, though, will ask a few questions. They will ask whether you've had any arrests, and they will ask whether you've had any criminal conduct in the US. Truthfulness is also another big part of every case, and most government lawyers will spend a lot of time trying to poke holes in your story to see if you're telling the truth. Now, let's talk about what your rights are. You have the right to inspect any piece of evidence that the DHS lawyer submits in your case. There are times when DHS uses information against you that won't be disclosed until the final hearing date. While that is perfectly legal, if you file a Freedom of Information Act, you can get that evidence and take a peek into what's in the government file.